Hello out there. Thank you for joining us for today's Search Engine Journal webinar. With me, I have Michael Johnson. Michael is the founder and CEO at Resolve. Resolve is an SEO agency that focuses on link acquisition, digital PR, and content strategies. We're so excited that you came here to talk with us today. Michael, thanks for joining us. It's been a minute since you've been on an SEJ webinar, but it's really nice to have you back.
I know it's been a couple of years. I'm so excited to be back chatting with the SEJ crew and the audience here and sharing kind of what we've learned about link building over the last couple of years and what we want to do going forward. So yeah, I'm super excited.
I love it. I love it. For all of our attendees, you're definitely in for a treat today. So we're going to talk about link building, what's working. Michael's going to talk about what's not working, maybe things you should stop doing, and what's coming up, especially as we're in some, turbulent, volatile times, whatever you want to call those right now. So if you don't know me, I am your host. I'm Heather Campbell, and I'm proud to run the marketing team here at SEJ. I've got Jonathan in the background. He's going to be answering some questions. If you need anything in the chat, let him know. He's there for tech support. And I'm going to do some quick housekeeping and I'm going to turn it over to Michael and get out of your way. And so if you need closed captioning, it's the little CC in the top right of your screen. Just give that a click. We will do Q&A at the end of the presentation. Michael may take some questions during if they're relevant. So if you have questions while he's going through the deck, please leave them in the chat or the Q&A tab. If you see a question you like, give it a little thumbs up, and that tells us that more of you are interested in it, and we will do our best to front load those questions at the end. We do have a survey after the webinar. If you can stick around, it lets us know how the day's webinar went for you, what else you'd like to see from us, and how we can make them better. You will absolutely get today's recording. You'll get the slides. It'll come in your inbox later today. And with that, I'm out of here. Let us know where you are. I see all the highs in the chat. I love to see it. All of these places. We got South Africa, India. We've got Kentucky. So I love it. We got a storm rolling in. So Michael and I were talking. Hopefully everybody here in that band sticks with us. But for that, I'm going to get out of here. Michael, it's all yours.
All right. Thanks so much, Heather. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. As you mentioned, I'm Michael Johnson. I am the CEO at Resolve. Real quick, before I dive too far into things, I want to do a little poll. So Heather will go ahead and launch the poll. The main question I'm asking today, I love just to get a feel of this, is does your organization actively try to build links? You've got yes, and it's going great. Yes, but we're struggling. No, but we'd like to get started. And no, and we don't plan to, AKA, why are you here? But that's okay. So go ahead, submit your answer there. Would love to kind of hear where everyone's coming from right now in terms of their SEO efforts and link building efforts. I'll let that go for a second here and then proceed.
And that should pop up for most people. And Michael, you might, I don't know if you can see it, but right now we've got 19% of people saying, yeah, it's going great. 47% yes, but we're struggling. Hey. 31 saying no, but we'd like to.
That's what we want to see. There's a lot of people in those middle two categories because those are the folks who are going to get the most. So that's fantastic.
Awesome.
All right, cool. Well, let's go ahead and roll into the presentation. So as I said, I'm Michael Johnson. I'm the CEO at Resolve. We are a SEO agency. We primarily focus on link acquisition, digital PR, content strategies. I've been in the SEO industry for 11 years now. Over that time, I've developed strategies for hundreds of companies, ranging from SMBs to Fortune 500s and everything in between. So seen a little bit of everything, especially with how much the SEO industry has changed. You may have seen me around. I presented for SMX. I've been on SEJ before. I've been at Content Marketing World, B2B Forum, etc. And really what I try to do with these presentations is to really present something that is tactical, that's something that you can take and actively put into your strategies after attending the webinar. This is something that I've accumulated from all these years of presenting and chatting with people and really being in the trenches of helping people to build SEO strategies and link building strategies. So what are we going to cover today? What are you talking about? We're going to talk about the history of link building. Why do we think about links the way that we do? there's a lot of misconceptions and old thinking that still continues today. Next, tactics that should be history, tactics that still work and how to execute them. And then last, where are we headed? What are the trends to look out for? Google just launched, SGE, the generative AI answer in the search results. People are freaking out about that. So we got plenty to talk about. So the history, Google started in 1996. In 1998, PageRank was launched, and that's when links really became a core and distinguishing part of Google's algorithm. Links were this awesome, like democratic way for people to point to where they were finding value on the web, and for that to be then put into the search results as a way of ranking sites. SEOs figured this out, and SEOs are going to do what SEOs do, and that is abuse the heck out of it. And so that is where, over the decade that followed and decades that followed, you saw PageRank become the way that link quality was measured. You saw stuff like, by 14 PR7 social bookmarking backlinks. You had your PageRank in your toolbar, right? Remember that? A lot of people may not have been SEO long enough to remember that. But this is really the core of it, is that because we had an official metric from Google, and that really was the end all be all, we began to kind of boil down or summarize quality into a number. And that's why today we are so obsessed with DA, PA, DR, UR, all those different quality metrics. There's this hard obsession for it. And it's kind of now an outdated way to think about links. It's something that really kind of sprung from this history. And we need to evolve in the way that we think about quality. And this is kind of what the direction that Google's moving in. So in November 2012, Google released the Penguin algorithm update to battle link spam. It was the first of many link-focused algorithm updates, right? We had Penguin 2.0. Most recently, we had SpamBrain, which, almost 10 years to the month that Google launched Penguin, they launched SpamBrain. So really what SpamBrain is that Google's now using machine learning to detect what links are likely spam, what links, were bought, versus what links are earned and what links are quality, and actually providing value to users in the search results. What I think we need to really focus on here, though, there's so much talk about links don't matter in the Google, Google's going to put less focus on the backlinks, all these kinds of things about how links stand within Google's algorithm. I would always focus more on what Google does and what Google invests in rather than what Google says. Google's put a lot of effort into developing SpamBrain and to having that part of their algorithm. They're trying to find a way to cut through the noise that exists in the search results and invested in updating their algorithm with this. So do links still matter? Correlation studies say, yeah, probably. SEMrush in 2024 put out a correlation study. Out of the top 20 factors that they found that led to rankings, 8 of the top 20 factors are link related. We have backlink factors here in yellow. They're a very strong part of how Google or what is ranking in Google. So this is really important for us to remember, is to always stick with what the data shows, stick with what's working and what's driving results when it comes to our SEO strategies. So what can we learn from all this? First of all, if you are looking at links from the same lens that you were 10 years ago, if you're still stuck in the days of PageRank and boiling link quality down to a number, you're not thinking about it right. The next thing, Google cares about links, and links affect rankings. That's what we see from where they're investing and what's working in the correlation studies. The next is Google is trying to cut out the noise so that they can focus on the links that really matter. So let's learn from history, right? So what doesn't work? Let's get into that. Let's talk about what are the things that need to be history that we need to kind of filter out from what we're doing. We're going to talk a bit more about SpamBrain. We're going to just try to get a basic understanding of what is machine learning. For all the buzz about AI and all these things, there are still people who are a little confused, but it's pretty simple when we think about it. And then last, we're going to talk about patterns. What are patterns of paid links versus what are patterns of earned links? What are the things that Google's looking for and trying to get out of their search results? So what is machine learning? A basic description or definition of this from IBM is it's a branch of AI that focuses on using data and algorithms to enable AI to imitate the way that humans learn. And this is important, to imitate the way that humans learn. Google wants to start viewing links in a more human way. They want something that's more discerning, something that's more nuanced. And that's why they're having machine learning now come in to their algorithm when it comes to evaluating backlinks. So AI, the way it works is it is learning from data, it's studying patterns, and it's identifying outliers. It's using those patterns and learning from this data to help figure out what are these patterns that are indicative of spammy tactics. So SGE was officially launched last week, maybe it was 2 weeks ago now. Basically, it's a glorified answer box is kind of the way people are seeing the AI overview. You're getting a quick answer generated by AI. It's referring you in a carousel here to a few different links, and it's showing up just above the typical results. It's been very funny too. Sometimes you'll get the AI overview and the snippet underneath it, and they're almost the same exact answer. So it has been kind of, it's been interesting to see how that's going to roll out, and it's interesting to see the future of it. You're doing great, right? There's been some pretty funny ones lately. Food names that end with it returned applum, bananum, and strawberrum. The next one was how to pass kidney stones quickly. The recommendation here is to drink at least 2 quarts of urine every 24 hours. So a little rough on the outset here, but we'll see how it goes. Obviously, it'll get better over time, but this is why we don't throw all of our eggs in that basket just yet. So why will links matter in a world with SGE? Google is using SpamBrain to be more nuanced on how they view links. How do we award sites based on, or how do we not award sites just based on shallow metric, based on pure numbers? And this is something that Google's been talking about for a while. I'll have a quote from John Mueller here in a minute, that even a few years ago, he was talking more and more about the quantity of links, the number of links. These things are easily manipulated. We are trying to look at things that are not as easily manipulated. So what we really need to start looking at is relevant links from trustworthy sources that serve as a human factor to judging authority. This is how we need to be thinking about links. There's also a really good quote from Kristen Tinsky from Fractal. She talked about this same tactic that Google's going to need to continue to rely on off-page factors to help cut through the noise and spam that's going to be created through AI-generated content. There's going to be so much noise out there and so much content that people are cranking out. This is why Google's addressing that in their most recent update when it comes to scaled content, is they're trying to cut through this noise as well. People are going to be linking to things that humans like, that humans find value from, that is helpful content, right? So links are going to continue to provide this real human signal to Google. So what are the patterns of quality links? What are things that we see that, how do humans and journalists actually link and provide value? First of all, the anchor text is user-friendly. The biggest misunderstanding that I'm seeing more and more today that should have been filtered out a long time ago from our understanding is trying to cram exact match anchor text into guest blog posts and things like that, right? The next thing is we need to link to pages that are contextually relevant. Relevance, I'm going to say relevance a billion times on this presentation. I've said it a billion times over the years as well. Relevance should be your #1 factor when you're looking at links. Next, you should be linking to something that provides additional insight or valuable information to the users of the site that you're linking from. If you're linking to a product page on your website, what value is that actually providing to that audience? What further insight are they going to gather from that? Is that a pattern of a natural quality link, or is that a pattern of a spam paid link, right? Questions asked. So non-promotional is the other thing. Most people don't organically, naturally link to promotional pages. They organically or naturally link to informational, educational pages. So just like we've been talking about helpful content for years now, we should be talking about helpful links. Are my links helpful? Are they serving a purpose? In a world without Google, would somebody expect to see this link, and would it provide value to people? So patterns of spam links, anchor text is SEO focus, probably exact match. Relevance doesn't matter. We're just chasing DA or DR. We find that general blog site that has a billion categories. We write an article for it. We're linking to promotional pages. We're disregarding users. We're just in it for the link juice. From the classic 90s movie Encino Man, we are just trying to wheeze the juice. And that's something that is very, kind of gives all the link builders a bad name over these years. So what doesn't work? This is the perfect example. This is legitimately a link that a client who we worked with recently came to us. And when we looked at their backlink profile, one of the first links I saw getting started, wrongful death cases in California. What are the causes? Type attorney near me in the search option, right? No person actually writes like this or links out like this, right? This is pure spam. So guest posts on general news sites, linking to products or promotional pages, using exact match anchor text. This needs to be a thing of the past. Like, clear it out. We need to stop thinking about links this way. If your links look like this, you or your agency are doing it wrong. Appreciate it, Davis. Thank you for appreciating the Encino Man reference. It's a niche favorite for sure. So what doesn't work? Continued. This is traffic. This is our client. So you can see this is when some algorithm updates happened right here. Sure enough, they took a hit right when that happened, took a dip. And now we've been in the process of trying to help them recover that traffic. They are not going to recover overnight, right? You don't recover rankings when you get hit. You can't naturally replace spam. It's going to be a process to rebuild that up. But hey, we're on our way. We're making progress. Good stuff. So what does SpamBrain do? SpamBrain tells Google to ignore or devalue links that follow these spam patterns. Again, they're trying to train the AI to view and evaluate links in a more human way. What looks natural? What looks organic? So when you follow these patterns, that's what's going to get your links ignored. This client wasn't penalized in the traditional sense. So many people today continue to freak out about getting penalized by Google. And while yes, Google did do a slew of manual penalties recently, mainly what's happening when your site gets dinged by Google is you are not getting penalized. Your links are getting neutralized. It's a correction to now show what your site would look like if those spam links are not being counted. So that's what's happening. So ultimately, if you're investing in low quality guest blog spam, your chances of getting penalized maybe not as high. Your chances of just wasting a ton of money are very high. So we've pointed this out as what doesn't work. Again, we started building better quality links right around January time. And in the months that followed, we're starting to see some recovery here, but it's going to take some time. So again, you can waste a lot of time and a lot of money, or you can do things the right way and play it right, and kind of that steady growth over time. So what does work? Number one, build helpful links. Think about the user on the other end that you're trying to get a link from, the user of the site that you're reaching out to. Think about the editor that you're trying to get a link from. Think about what's in their best interest and the best interest of the people on their website. Build relevant links. Relevance should always be your number one metric. Use DA and DR as a secondary, or heck, even a tertiary metric. Use it in your considerations. If you get a high DA DR link, great, that's exciting. But make sure that relevance and human value come first. Next, use diverse tactics. There are so many link building agencies that all they do is guest posting. You'll just get this huge backlink profile full of guest posts. That doesn't really look natural to Google. As Good Burger says, that's not natural. So we want to try to build something that's going to look natural, organic, and diverse when it comes to our backlink profile. So how to evaluate target sites. These are screenshots from presentations I've given over the last 5 years. I have consistently said, don't think about DA so much as you think about relevance. Don't get hung up on domain authority. Hey, look at relevance. This is my I told you so moment. We really need to focus on relevance first. I always give this example. It's one of my favorite ones to use is, let's say I wanted a endorsement. And this is a concept I'm going to talk about a lot, is links as endorsements. If I wanted an endorsement from somebody to say, Resolve is the best link building agency out there, who would I want endorsement? Let's say I got one from LeBron James. He's probably a DA 99, right? Everybody knows LeBron James, very authoritative person in the world. But if he said that I'm a great link building agency, people are probably like, well, is he an expert in that? How does he know that these guys are good at it, or what's good? On the other hand, let's say John Mueller went out and said, hey, Resolve's a great link building agency. He's probably a DA 18 on the world stage. Not a lot of people know him, but his relevance, his space, his authority within my niche is really high. That's probably a much more valuable endorsement to me than a higher authority site. So this is how we should be thinking about our link building: is who do we want endorsements from? View links as endorsements. Okay, so the next, how to evaluate target sites. This is what Google, John Mueller himself said a couple years ago. He says, we try to understand what is relevant for a website. The total number of links doesn't matter at all. You could go off and create millions of links across millions of websites, and we would just ignore them all. So again, relevance in your links is what's really going to be sending signals to Google about what you're a subject matter expert in and what they should be ranking you for. So relevance first, use your human brain. Next, human value. Does this site mean anything to anybody who is not building links on it? Make sure that the site gets real traffic, that it's legitimate traffic, or that it serves a purpose offline. And then last, look at trust. So look at authority, look at the backlink neighborhood, all those kinds of things. Think of links as endorsements. Who do I want endorsements from? Who would be a valuable person to have point to my website? So let's build your link building tool belt. These are tactics that I recommend using that are replicable and sustainable. Not all of these will work for everybody, but I think you can probably pick up on one or two of these that you can use and execute for your brand today. So the first one is digital PR. What you're gonna do with digital PR is you're gonna create a newsworthy informational piece that will pique journalists' interest. So you can use public data, proprietary research. You can do something that's fun and zany. We've had a lot of success just kind of getting weird with it and kind of creating some funny, weird niche content out there that attracts journalists that follow that beat. Identify the relevant beats, identify trends and topics within those beats. So one of the big things with digital PR is when you create your piece of content you're using to attract backlinks or attract journalists' attention, you have to make sure demand is there. One of the biggest mistakes I made early on in my journey of doing digital PR is that I would create content with the intent of having that create demand, when if the demand's not there, you need to try to supply pre-existing demand is what I try to do. So that's what you want to do with this. So create content that satisfies demand that already exists within beats that there are journalists writing about regularly. So a fun example here, we wrote a piece for a client of ours. We're going to go rogue and jump out of the presentation. We did a digital PR campaign for a client. We did the 10 most Googled monsters in the US. So they're an aquarium, they're animal related. So we were like, let's find each state's most Googled mythical creature. So we had the skunk ape from Florida, Champy from New York. We created little mug shots for each creature, kind of imagine what they might look like. We also had an interesting finding. Most people probably think of Bigfoot when they think of cryptozoology, but Bigfoot wasn't the most searched one. It was actually skinwalkers from New Mexico. So we actually had an interesting kind of takeaway from this. And then what we did was we went out and pitched journalists in all of the states that made our top 10 to say, hey, your guys' mythical creature got the most Google searches in America. So we got NBC New York to pick this up. I mean, that's a really nice, high authority news site that's going to carry some significant weight. We got a link from Yahoo News with this piece. We got a link from local journalists like this guy in Wyoming, who's a DJ at a radio station, picked it up and provided a link. So we were able to get some really cool backlinks by kind of tapping into an off the wall, weird topic, and then having that kind of state and local relevance, and then contacting journalists in each of those states. The next strategy is good guest posting. There's a lot of bad guest posting, but there's still a good way to do this. So first, helpful content, helpful guest posts. Is the information that I'm providing valuable to the audience that I'm writing it for? Again, if you're just writing an article about your company, about your products, about your services, whatever, or just like defining very basic topics and trying to make that into a blog post, that's probably not very helpful. Try to write something that is well thought out and of interest to their audience. Is the link I'm placing in the article providing further insight and value to the article? Will the user expect to come to the page they are landing on when they click the link? And then relevance, relevance, relevance. Either the domain you're writing for is relevant to your domain, the domain is relevant, the domain you're rating for is relevant to the page on your site. Make sure there's a logical reason why your link exists. If you are paying somebody to just throw up low quality content or advertorial content for your brand, it's not going to work long term. You've got to find something more sophisticated and create something that's going to be valuable to users if you're going to last in the long run when it comes to links. So Boolean site finding. This is one route that you can go to find sites for guest posting. Now, the pros of it, is that you can find a lot of sites quickly. It's bountiful and it's easy. The cons of it is that you might get sites with low metrics. You might get sites that are just posting everything and anybody, because this is how a lot of people find guest post opportunities, or you might find spammy sites. So an example of how you'd use Boolean finding to help, Boolean site finding or Boolean operators to help you find sites is, let's say you want to write for sites that talk about tech. You do tech in URL, write for us. And this is going to help you find sites that have write for us pages that you can create content for. Small business in URL, write for us, right? You can use this kind of Boolean operator to help you find sites that you think will have a high probability of accepting guest posts. Again, the upside is that you're going to find a lot of sites and probably some fast, easy wins. The low end of this is that a lot of those might already be kind of spammy in nature. So be careful with that. One that we really like doing, this is actually feedback I got from one of our outreach experts here named Willem. He does persona hunting. Basically what he does, this is his personal favorite. He finds a persona. So this is a pen name or somebody who's writing and publishing regularly on different blog sites. And he's going to then look for their work. So he's going to find their name, find their bio, their social media. And then we're going to look at the pros of this. So the pros of this is that if you use this approach, you're going to find a lot of sites that are likely to accept guest posts. These are probably going to be higher quality sites, because if you find a journalist or a persona that is regularly posting good content, they're going to probably publish on good sites. So if you can find the right person, it can be a really good tactic. The con of this is finding the right persona can be difficult. Getting somebody who is regularly publishing good content, it can be hard. So your runway might be a little bit lower with this. So let me show you an example. One that we found here, and we kind of include a note here, is Sophia Smith. She's a lifestyle blogger, graphic designer, and food enthusiast. So what I did was I went ahead and searched for Sophia Smith, lifestyle blogger. I was able to find her social media handles here. And then I was able to find a ton of sites where her bio page is on that she writes for. So we know that these are sites that likely accept guest posts that we can maybe publish on, because we see that they're accepting posts from this prolific writer on a consistent basis. So this is helping me now identify and find a bunch of guest posting opportunities that I can follow up with and see if they'll be a good fit. So the step to this process is basically find a journalist or a persona within your space that is regularly guest posting, or that you like their content, it looks good. Then kind of reverse search, try to find them and where their author bio exists on the web, and then reach out to the sites that they regularly write for, because you know these are sites that are likely to accept guest posts. Okay, the next two tactics are some of my favorites. This first one is like a go-to for me, resource link building. The things I love about resource link building is that it is purely editorial. It's associated with legit organizations. Sometimes you can get links from .edus, .govs, .orgs. A lot of these times they are pre-existing pages. So these are pages that have built up their own page authority and have existed for a while. Next, we have and it'll generally require a resource worthy of links on your site. So let's go ahead and proceed to the next thing here. So let's give you an example here. Let's say you are dentrix.com. They're a dental software company, and we want to find a way that we can connect dental software with an audience that has a lot of resource pages dedicated to them. So what we want to start thinking about is what kinds of pages link out. Resource and links pages consistently link out. So what kinds of audiences can you find? What kinds of resources are they linking to? And what kinds of topics are or aren't being mentioned within those resource pages? So you want to try to find an angle that maybe hasn't already been sniffed out or been being used a lot, and try to provide something of fresh value to the resource pages you're reaching out to. So I started doing a little bit of competitor research, and what I found when I looked and found some other dental sites was this resource on Byte.com, and they had a guide to dental care for children with autism. This guide has earned over 80 links for Byte, including .edu and .gov links. So what I found was a very successful route of how another dental site was able to connect connect their brand to an audience that has a lot of resource pages dedicated to them. So if I'm Dentrix, there could be a huge opportunity to create a dental health guide for parents of children with special needs. You could get links from dental resource pages, from parental resource pages, or from resource pages for the specific conditions that you're addressing. So we created a guide that connects us with 3 different spheres of relevancy. Something about linkable content that you want to think about is, how do I create content that creates link opportunities that connects me with these spheres of relevancy and audiences that exist on the web. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to create a top of the funnel audience focused content piece. You're going to start looking at the kinds of pages that people generally link from, see what kinds of trends you pick up, look for examples of successful linkable content, and then use that inspiration to create your own piece that is similar yet provides its own unique value. So really quick here, I want to skip through a couple of these slides. One of the things we wanted to talk about earlier is endorsements. Some of the sites that I found, if you set a hard minimum DA for this project, you would probably kick out a lot of these sites. But one of the big niches that I found was there are a ton of resource pages on dentists' websites. So Scott Stewart DMD, Associates for Oral Surgery, Your Smile Docs, Mount Vista Dental. These are anywhere from DA 14 to DA 21. So DA, you might be underwhelmed, but think about it. What's a good endorsement for a dental software company? Dentists, people who use the software, right? These are great links for these guys to have. And if you think about links as endorsements, these are great endorsements for them to have. So a quick example, does this actually work? This is a guide that we actually created for a client of ours recently. And these are some examples of links that we got. We created a nutrition guide for cancer patients. Our clients in the health and food industry, they did a great job of adding some additional graphics to make the piece navigable and accessible for people. And it's just a great, helpful piece of information that provides additional resources and information to cancer patients on how they can get better nutrients and be able to have a more successful recovery. So we were able to get links from the United States Coast Guard with this piece. They had a retiree services page on their website, and they added a link to our guide. We're able to get a link from the Hepatitis B Foundation. They had a section of their site about liver cancer. Again, these are all legit organizations. The Virginia Breast Cancer Foundation, right? These are all legit organizations with offline presence that are including links to their, they're getting great links to their sites. So the last tactic here is unlinked mentions. So I love unlinked mentions. They're super underrated. This only works generally though if you're a bigger brand or if you have a decent PR presence. But this is a great opportunity to get organic links to promotional or product pages. Again, I say most of the time building promotional or product pages won't work because you can't really get them organically. But these are one of the situations where you can actually get organic, non-paid links to these types of pages. So if you're a bigger brand or you have a C-level or founder who's engaged in the media regularly, use Google News to search for your brand, the names of these founders or C-level people. You can use tools like mention.com, BrandWatch, or Mentionlytics. These will all help you find unlinked mentions. Do they work? This is an awesome example. The answer is yes. Our client was very specific on, we want to test this against control, have this very controlled test. They didn't change anything on the page. They didn't touch anything else. We just built links. And what we're able to do is doing unlinked mentions. We found they had unlinked mentions on cornell.edu, on University of California, Santa Clara, on other brands in their industry like ClickUp, Stacks Payments, and even on Berkeley, UC Berkeley had a link. We were able to grow their traffic for one of their primary product pages by 150% over 6 months just by building, I think it was 7 good quality backlinks using unlinked mentions. So yes, this process works. If you're a big brand and you're not taking advantage of this strategy, you're missing out big time on what could be some great results on some highly valuable ROI driving pages for your brand. So one of the questions I always get is, okay, so if we're building linkable assets and not linking to our product pages, how can we, I saw a question from Tom that said, was your client doing anything else aside from link building at this time? No, I kind of mentioned that earlier. They were very strict on not changing anything else on the page. They just wanted to see how links would act if that was the only thing they did. So it was kind of a test for them as well. So let's talk really quick about how do you get links, or how do links help impact product pages or mid-funnel pages if you're not building links to them? The answer is internal links. Over the last couple of years, the SEO industry has consistently been saying internal links is one of the most underrated parts of SEO. And I agree. People forget that internal links are basically just like backlinks tell Google what the web is paying attention to and what's important. Internal links are how you tell Google within your site what's important and what they should be paying attention to. So what you're going to do is you're going to create your link magnet, whether it's a digital PR piece, whether it's your link generating guide, and then you're going to build links to that, and then you're going to internally link this page to the relevant product pages, conversion pages, mid-funnel content pages on your site. And what's great about this is that this will allow you to create a repeatable, sustainable system. Again, if you're just going to build links for a month or two and shut it off, you're probably not going to get results. Having consistency and velocity in your link acquisition efforts is important. And this type of a system of building out linkable assets and then using internal linking is how you create this sustainable system for your brand. I always feel a little bit like Charlie from It's Always Sunny whenever I pull up that chart. It works, I promise, right? No, it's a great way to do it. So I'm just about to the end here of my presentation. I want to kick it over to some Q&A here in a minute. But what I'm offering today is to do a free ranking roadmap. I'll do some free competitor analysis. I'll do some free keyword opportunities for you, and I'll help you come up with your own linkable content idea. So if you want to scan the QR code here, this will let you book an appointment with me to do that. And if you end up signing up with us after doing the ranking roadmap report, I'll give you 20% off the first month of services with us. So go ahead, if you want to scan the QR code and book some time with me, I'll put together this free ranking roadmap report, walk you through it, answer your questions. If you want to work with us, great. If you don't, you got some great data and information that you can use to help you along in your SEO efforts for your brand. So yeah, go ahead. I'll leave this up for one more second here for anybody who wants to scan that and book some time. After that, I just have a quick poll for anybody who is interested in connecting with me. So Heather, if we can launch the poll there. Just if you're interested in getting 20% off your first month of link building services with us, go ahead and let us know. The answers are yes, please reach out to me to see if we'll be a good fit. Maybe, can you send me some more info? Or no, thank you. Go ahead and submit whatever answer works best for you.
Okay, Michael, well, we'll leave that up for a minute. Oh, okay.
Oh, just my thank you slide. This is just my, Michael Scott finger guns,
Look, one of my favorite things about you are the decks, the references. I too am a huge Encino Man fan, like quote it often. I saw the good burger, I'm there for all of this.
The pop culture.
I mean, the link building too.
It's important. It's important. Awesome. So someone asked about my URL for our website. It's just right here, growresolve.com. Also, my email address is here, my Twitter handle, my LinkedIn. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, we'll go ahead and we can kind of kick it over to the Q&A here.
Yeah, because we have a few of them. So hold on, let me get to the right place. All right, we are going to start with Brianne's question. Should we be using the disavow tool to remove spammy or toxic links? I found mixed results saying yes and no.
Great question. So the advice from Google historically has, or not historically, in the last few years has been, unless you've got like a manual action penalty or you've engaged in egregious spam efforts, you don't need to worry about disavowing links. I've heard mixed results from clients. The way I think about it is exactly that. If you're not currently experiencing any kind of algorithmic or manual issues, I wouldn't do it. But if you do see a consistent trend of spammy, or like maybe you bought a ton of really low quality links in the past, maybe I saw this one recent thing where it was all these URLs with -K in them, and I had like 4 or 5 people who came to me and approached me, and I looked at their backlink profiles and these existed. There must have been just kind of spam attack that happened on a bunch of domains. You maybe can disavow those, but unless it's something egregious, I wouldn't worry about it. One of the biggest mistakes I've seen is that SEMrush is now sending people like, you have toxic links in your backlink profile. And then people are going out and disavowing hundreds or thousands of backlinks based on what one tool tells them. That's a big mistake because you're likely throwing the baby out with the bathwater in those situations. And you're going to lose out on equity from links that Google was quite possibly counting and that were helping your rankings. All right.
I was on mute. Sorry, I apologize. Question from Lee. What is the value of sites like Wikipedia, Quora, and Reddit in 2024?
Yeah, I always, whenever it comes to my link building efforts, I'm looking for editorial links. I'm looking for links that are put up by third parties, real people that are linking to my site because of the value that it provides to their audience. If you're like spamming Reddit and throwing links back to your site on that, I don't think those are links that are going to, stand the test of time. If you've got a legitimate source that gets included on Wikipedia and linked to from a Wikipedia article, great. Like, I think that's probably a good backlink. But yeah, like I would say like anything that's like forum style that you can just write yourself and publish or throw up onto a site. I would spend more of my time focused on earning those editorial links.
So here's a good question from Jacob. When conducting link building, it seems there's a monetary factor to consider. Now we don't buy links, but there are resources that need to go into it and other things like that. Mm-hmm. So, there needs to be a link budget. So what does our backlink budget? Anything on that?
Yeah. So my client in the financial niche has a zero. So the strategies that I recommend, again, like you won't have to pay for links if you do resource link building. If you can create an awesome resource guide for them and pitch it out to resource pages, the idea behind that is that these are editorial, helpful pieces of content that people are linking to because they're informational. So yeah, I would probably go ahead and go after that kind of a tactic. At the end of the day, though, some brands need to be willing to invest in link building as part of their SEO strategy, especially if you're not, if your financial client is Forbes, then yeah, they probably don't need to invest in link building. They can publish anything they want and it'll rank. But if they are like a financial advising firm or something like that, they need to be able to understand that links are a big part, and establishing authority and links from relevant sources is going to be important. So in terms of like the $0 backlink budget, if you have an SEO budget and you can give some of that to developing linkable assets and promoting those, then do that. If that was the concern, then do that. If the concern was paying for links, there are organic ways to earn links. It's going to revolve around creating content that's worthy of link building.
All right. So let's see. Peter asks, are unlinked mentions helpful at all?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of driving results, absolutely. Like I kind of showed before with that project that we did, we were able to get amazing results for a client with acquiring unlinked mentions. Again, the idea that the way you're trying to pitch this to a editor is you're explaining to them, hey, you mentioned our website, this brand, this product, this quote from us. Here's a link so that your audience can find what it was you were referring to. So by pitching it to them and explaining to them the value that linking to your site provides, you're now showing how that helps user experience and points users to a piece of information that further explains something within their article.
Perfect. Natalia asked, and there's a ton of questions, so I'm just going to keep throwing them at you there, Michael.
Well,
so
yeah.
What are the most efficient link building approaches for a SaaS company? Any advice there?
Yeah, so for a SaaS company, one thing that's worked really well for SaaS companies, again, if you have received funding recently, or like Series A, Series B, that kind of stuff, that gets picked up in the press all the time. So get on those mentions, look for those, make sure those are converting. For SaaS, we did a really good one for a SaaS company recently in the medical space. So they're a scheduling and patient intake software. And the resource guide process that I mentioned before worked amazing for them. We created a guide that was a guide for helping retirees navigate the healthcare system. So we talked about Medicare and provided stuff there. We were able to get a ton of links from sites that provide resources to seniors because Medicare was a big area of focus for them as a brand. So that works really well. Guest posting, you can continue to use that. There's a lot of tech sites out there that you can outreach to and write for. The other thing I would look for is partners. Find brands that use your software, that like your software, reach out to them. One part of link building that a lot of people forget about is like the human aspect of it, the partnership aspect of it. If there's somebody who likes your product or service that uses it and they link to you, that's a great example of an endorsement, a link as an endorsement. So find the brands and the people that use it and see if they'd be willing to throw out a link to you on their site and mention that they use you. So hopefully there were like 3 or 4 there that you can use.
And so let's see, kind of backing that up. Caitlin asks, what is your process for identifying unlinked mentions?
Yeah, so again, there's a few tools you can use. There's mentions.net. The other one that I really like is just straight up using Google News and just searching your brand name in Google News, searching your products in Google News. That you don't have to have a tool to do that. You can just do that today. And then going to the site, we landed a link for a client of ours. It was a law firm, a local law firm who was working on a very strange case that got picked up in the Sun, like huge, DA 92 plus publication. They didn't link when they mentioned the case and the firm that was working on it. We outreached to them. I just did a Google search, Google News search, found that they had mentioned in the press there, reached out and were able to get an amazing backlink for our client from a high-end publication. So just use Google News. Again, your brand name, the names of your products, the names of your executives, founders, anything that might be in the press that's related to your brand, you can convert those.
Yeah, and setting up Google Alerts helps, automate that process.
Yep, Google Alerts. Yeah, exactly.
So Andy asks, for a dental office, should the focus be on niche, proximity, high DA? What are they looking for?
I would focus on the first ones before I focused on the last ones. Niche, find other dental related resource pages and sites out there that you can get links from. Local link building can be very powerful. You want to send local signals to Google that like we are a player in this industry, or in this space, in this area that we're in. We're a trustworthy company that provides a great service and other brands trust us in this area and link to us. So I would focus on those two, and then I would focus on high DA. Because here's why. If you're a dentist in Oklahoma City, and why would Forbes link to a dental office in Oklahoma City? Or why would the other say, you'll spend your whole life trying to get links from these high-end sites that there's no reason or incentive for them to link to you. Where on the other hand, you can build real relationships with real sites that matter to you, that matter within your space, and get links from those on a consistent basis. And I think that'll send better signals to Google than anything else. So yeah, that's what I would focus on.
And so I guess maybe we should have asked this first, but any specific link building strategies they should be using for locals specifically?
Yeah, be involved in your local community. That's the number one thing I would say. If you're a local business owner, be engaged in local events, sponsor local events, do community service, do PR within your local area. There was an example that I provided recently. It was a group that I can't remember exactly what they did. It was like a staffing agency or something, but they partnered with the local humane society here in Boise, where I'm from, and they got all the new local news outlets to pick up on it because they're saving puppies. I mean, like, what's better than that? Like, people were so pumped. They got all this great press, and they got a lot of really good backlinks to their site by getting press outlets to pick up on that piece. So again, partner with other groups around your area, other people that use you or that partner with you. Again, ask them for links. Use your relationships to help you get links. That's one of the most powerful ways you can get links locally.
Awesome. Let's see, we already asked that one. There's a lot of questions in here. Let's take Just giving you a break. I knew you needed a break, Michael. That's
Need a
all.
little sip there, you know?
Arjun asks, are social bookmarking, directory submissions, and classified submissions still relevant?
Not really, especially like social bookmarking, classifieds, a lot of those I wouldn't worry about. Directories, if there is a relevant niche directory that people visit, that gets traffic, that someone might actually use, then yeah, go ahead and get on that directory. Again, think about it, in a world without Google, would I want to be on this site or on this page? If people are actually using it and you might attract a customer by being on that directory, then go ahead and be on it. I wouldn't make that a big part of your link building approach or have that be your primary way of getting links, but I don't see any problem with doing that if you have other motivations outside of link juice for being on that directory.
Okay, from Sazid. New to SEO. Love that you're here. Hope you're learning something and taking it away. But yeah, looking to start link building. Where's the best place to start?
The first place to start is to look at your website and ask yourself the question, who will link to my website and why would they want to link to it? If you don't have anything on your site that is helping people, that is providing, real valuable information, then you're going to be it's dead in the water right off the bat. So that is the first thing that I always think about when it comes to link building. When I look at a client's website, is I ask myself, who linked to this site and why would they link to it? At the, good link building, there is a level of altruism to it. Again, we're not completely altruistic. We do want links. We want to help our website rank better, but you actually have to help other people and provide value to others to have this work. So that is the first thing I would start at, is looking at that. And then after you've asked that question, then say, well, who would link to my website and what do they need? And then try to create the information and content that you can then pitch to those people to get them to link to you.
Question from Dan. Is there an ideal number cadence to the links, such as like 1 per week, or is it better to do 20 per month? So what does that look like?
It depends on the size of your brand and the competitiveness of the industry that you're competing in. If you are, let's go back to the dentist office. If you're a small dental office in Boise, Idaho, you might only need to get a couple backlinks a week, or a link a week to rank and to grow your authority. If you're a huge SaaS software brand competing for accounting software nationwide or worldwide, you probably are going to need a lot of links on a regular basis to compete. So that'd be my answer there. It just kind of depends on the scale and competitiveness of your industry.
And I've seen this question a couple different ways. So we'll bring Yogesh's question up. So what parameters are you using for relevance and what should sites use? Those were two different questions. So what are you specifically using to determine that? And then, yeah.
So first of all, we talked about SpamBrain earlier. And what is the goal of it? What is machine learning trying to do? It is trying to imitate the way that a human would evaluate or look at something. So relevance is something that you use your human brain to think about, to think critically about, to look at a site and say, okay, this is my website, this is my industry. I need to think about all of the ways that my brand, my product, my service affects all different audiences and groups and problems and challenges and ways of life. And then you can create content around those. Then you need to find websites that speak to those problems, to those challenges, to that industry, to those audiences. And then links are that connection then that you use to connect your content to those audiences. So that relevance is really like a human process of looking at the site and saying, is there a logical reason why my content or my site should be included on this page or on this website? That's kind of the question that you have to ask yourself. Do I have something on my site that's going to provide value to these people? Yes, look at organic traffic. That's helpful. But don't have organic traffic be the end all be all. There are like super legitimate organizations that have offline presences, in like small communities that they maybe don't get thousands of visitors a month to their website, but it's a legit organization. These are real people in a group that serves people offline. That's still a good natural link to have. On the other hand, there are spammy guest post sites out there that are DA65, get 60,000 visitors a month. And then you look at the keywords that they're ranking for, and they're all spam, they're all garbage, and it's just spam inflated traffic. So that's why like little numbers, like any one metric can be taken out of context and not be a good indicator of quality. So I hope that answers the question, but relevancy is always where I start. And again, it's just seeing if there's that logical connection that exists between your content, your site, and the site you want to link from.
All right. Rachel asks, can you talk about the pitch you submitted to the reporters in the example that you showed?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So we had some fun with it. So I'm one that I sent out to some publications so let me give a couple examples. So one, when it came to the Wyoming, which was the jackalope, we said like, hey, is the jackalope real? People on Google seem to think so, or something like that. And then in the pitch, we kind of mentioned, hey, they probably don't think it's real, but people are searching for it and it's getting a lot of search traffic. In fact, your little state of Wyoming, I'm in Idaho, so I can, talk smack about other little states. People are searching your state because of the jackalope. It is the 7th most popular mythical creature in all of America. Let your audience know. And because this guy was a radio DJ who I'd seen in the past kind of write some zany, funny content, I was like, you know what, he'll probably pick up on this and like it. So align your pitch with the person that you're reaching out to, with what their beat is and what they write about and what their voice is like. And this guy, I kind of knew he was silly and fun, so I sent him a silly and fun email. There was another one where in Utah, our article, there was an example where Brigham Young, who was a Mormon prophet way back in the day, they gave a rope to a guy up in Bear Lake to try to catch the Bear Lake monster that was supposedly in the lake. And so in my things to Utah, I knew everyone in Utah will know who Brigham Young is. There's Brigham Young University. So I included that in my subject line to grab their attention and say, hey, did Brigham Young try to catch the Bear Lake monster? And everyone's like, what? And they open the email. So there are ways that you can make things fun and engaging for people and catch their attention. And so that's some examples of how I use that to get links.
And the biggest thing there is the personalization. You took time to learn about what they would be interested in, find things that would, and so that's huge. That shows that power of relationship. All right. Well,
there's one from Tiana Guzman I can answer real quick. She asked, do you have any tools that you use to identify outlets? There's a few tools you can use. So there's Roxhill, there's Pitchbox, and then the other one that I've used is Prowly. Prowly is a company that's owned by SEMrush. It's gotten a little more expensive in recent months, but all of these sites have huge databases of journalists. And then you can filter based on their location, based on the topics they write about, and then use that to help you put together a list of journalists to reach out to.
Awesome. Let's see. Duncan, what is your preferred method to establishing relationships for digital PR? There's been a lot of talk around this lately.
Yeah. So again, kind of what Heather mentioned, what I was mentioning earlier, is a lot of it is personalized outreach, understanding what it is they care about, what they're passionate about, what they're writing about regularly, seeing, is there an angle that they haven't discussed yet? Is there a data point that could better inform their audience? It's thinking about them and the people that they write for, and then being a good resource to them and being able to provide them with that information. So it's kind of hard to do on an agency basis if you're writing for a lot of different clients in a lot of different industries. But if you are just doing it like in-house, find the journalists who write regularly on the subject matters within your space and really try to build relationships with them, try to find data and helpful information that can better inform their articles and their writing. And if you can be somebody who helps them, they'll want to keep working with you. They'll be receptive to your outreach.
Yeah, makes their job easier a little bit. Okay, we're going to take one more question from Stephen. Is it okay to guest post on the same domain monthly?
You're going to see diminishing returns. Google's not going to count every link from a site over every, month over month the same. And I would then say, what is your relationship? What is the purpose of posting on the site? If you are just like paying for a guest post on a low quality site every month and publishing on it just because you can for the link juice, then I don't think that's going to be a very valuable thing to post monthly on. But if it's a website where your audience exists regularly, where people read the content, they benefit from your content, they like it, and the person that you work with at that site loves your stuff and they just want to have you write there regularly, then go ahead, like write great content and be a resource to people and get those links. But you're going to miss out on, someone wants to see the QR code again.
I was going to mention that before.
Here you go. We'll leave that up for a minute here. So anybody else who wants to book can book with me. Yeah, I hope that was helpful there. I wouldn't if you're just in it for the link juice, don't do it. If you've got a real value to provide that audience and they want to keep inviting you back to write for them, then go ahead. That's good publicity. That's good marketing for your brand.
Cool. Anthony also asked if you could repeat the other ones. You mentioned he only caught Prowly. So what were the other tools that you mentioned?
Roxhill is one. Muckrack is another. And I recently got a suggestion for another one. I can't remember it, but if Anthony reaches out to me after, I can shoot him a note with what that third one is. A newer one. It's pretty cheap from what I understand. So it might be a good one to get in on with early.
Awesome. Well, with that, we're a little bit over, but Michael, thank you for answering so many of the questions. There's more of them. We'll send them over and see what you want to do with them. But for everybody here, thank you for joining us for today's webinar. You will get the recording and the slides in your inbox later. Thank you for everybody who participated in the chat, answering other people's questions, asking questions. Great session today. Hope to see you on next week's webinar. But Michael, thanks for being here again.
Thanks so much. It was great as always. Love the SCJ crew, and hope we'll be on again soon.
Awesome. Awesome. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, evening, whatever is left. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys.